wonder where these big giant rocks came from. Anybody have an idea? You see where I'm at? You see the bridge over there? Hey, it might give you a hint where I'm at. Anyways, so I want to go and continue the story here about what I know about Western Penitentiary and the issue of the contaminated water. But I want to tell you another story. I'm going to do a little bit of a twist here. And this is the story that was told to me by a fellow homeless person who I resided with at the homeless shelter on the north side. Now, I'm not going to mention his name, obviously, to protect his identity, and I also do not have his permission to give his name out, so I won't do that. But he worked in the kitchen at Western Penitentiary. This was back probably mid-'80s, late 70s. I'm not really sure. He spent a lot of time there, probably 15, 20 years, according to what he told me. So before I get into what he told me, I must tell you offhand, I cannot verify this. There's no way to me to confidently assert to you in this video that what he tells me is 100% true. I'm only going to tell you what he told me. So if a person is watching this video who served time at Western Penitentiary in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, you may find this story completely fabricated. You may call it fake, or you simply do not know about it. But if you do know something about it, well, you know, I'll get to that in a moment. But so he worked in the kitchen. One day, one of the COs came up to him one very early morning and handed him a plastic bag that was full of clear liquid. And the CO instructed him, he said, I want you to put this into the eggs that you're making this morning. And he said, what? What do you want me to do? He's like, you heard me. Do what I tell you. Now, there was no label on the bag. There was no means to identify what was in the contents of this, what kind of chemical this was. He was completely unaware of it. He was just told to put it in the food. So he did that. This procedure continued to go on for about several months. Now, I have scoured the ends of the earth to explore and discover articles that may have even a remote relation to this incident, and I can't find any. Now, he told me the reason why. He said, you're not going to find any information on this, because he says the only people that knew about it were the people who worked in the kitchens, the people who were preparing the food. This went on for a long time there, that they were putting chemicals in the food that the prisoners were eating. Now, it didn't happen for every meal. He said it only happened maybe breakfast time or maybe lunch, or whenever he was instructed to put this chemical into the food. Here comes a nice big train. Sorry, guys, about the noise. It's a CSX. I always love these trains. The bridge is over 100 years old and it's still going. It's amazing. Although an engineer told me that when you're on that bridge and you're driving a train, it shakes like you wouldn't believe, and it feels like you're going to fall into the river. But anyway, so this went on for a while. And I said, well, what do you think that chemical did? He said, well, he said it made prisoners impotent. That was supposedly the purpose. And to curb their sexual desires. Because obviously you're locked up, right? Well, that's not the end of the story. About a year after he had been doing this procedure, at various times throughout the day in accordance with his kitchen duties, he noticed that prisoners were disappearing. They were being transported. Some died. What saved him, according to him and according to his account, is the chemical that he used in the foods that he was instructed to put it in, he would not eat. He would not partake in. Now, what's more interesting about this is it didn't affect everybody in the same way. Some prisoners, it didn't affect at all. Some prisoners, it made them terribly sick. The water contamination at Western Penitentiary sort of overshadowed what was going on in the kitchen. Now again, remember, now this is according to him, most of the prisoners didn't know what was going on in that kitchen unless they worked in the kitchen. So in other words, they didn't really have any kind of information about what was going on and what kind of chemicals were being put in there. the prisoners were threatened that if they told the other prisoners what they were doing in the kitchen, that they would, incur severe repercussions. And for most of the people who went in Western Penitentiary, some of the guards there were very violent towards the inmates. There was a lot of abuse that went on in there, which is another video I'm going to make about the physical abuse that went on, because he told me a lot of stories about that. But based on this kitchen duty that he had, I'm thinking that what was really going on inside there was being overshadowed with the water problem that Western Penitentiary had for a long time, because as I said in the previous video, that prison's built right on the river there, right on the Ohio River, and all of the slag and sludge and everything from the steel mills was dumped from Pittsburgh that flowed down because the Beaver River starts in Pittsburgh, and it flowed down to Western Penitentiary and got into their, slowly over the years it crept into their water system, because the prison got its water from the Ohio River. So a lot of men were getting sick, they were getting ill, and a lot of men died. I don't know how many died. I don't have an official number, I probably never will. But this story is fascinating to me, and it's intriguing me so much that I'm highly considering doing a podcast about it. But I want to know what you guys think of that. Should I do a podcast about this? Should I go out and investigate this more? I have another couple of testimonies that I'm going to share with you in an upcoming video that's going to talk more about this. But until then, this is what was told to me about what was going on there, and how prisoners were getting sick and getting ill, and even in some severe cases they were dying. And this was kept out of the press. The public didn't know about this, and for the most part, the public doesn't know about it. I'm the first one to reveal this information. I'm the one that was in a shelter with homeless people who told me these things about Western Penitentiary. He's not the only one that told me this. I have a couple of other sources that I'm going to share with you in an upcoming video, so I am going to make a part 3 to this. But I realize that I'm conveying a lot of information here, and I don't want to overwhelm you, but I'll be a little bit more focused in the next video and give you a presentation of what I think as I try to put this together and make some sense of it. But before I leave, I want to know what you think of this. I want to know your opinion about this. Do you know anybody that was in Western Pennsylvania? Do you know anybody that was in Western Penitentiary and did time there? And if so, what did they tell you about it? I want to know your comments. And if anybody did serve time in that prison, please leave a comment below, or get a hold of me, direct message me somehow. I'm not hard to get a hold of. I'm all over the internet. So I'd like to really hear what you have to say and what you feel went down, and maybe what you know. If you're willing to share that, you can remain anonymous. I won't give your name out. Let me know, and I would really love to hear from somebody else, from a source that I don't have. It would be great. So guys, until I see you in the next video, take care of yourselves, enjoy it, be safe, be prosperous, and stay safe, okay?